What's up, Vault Hunters? It's Echo here, Queen of the Loot Goblins, bringing you another Borderlands 3 video. On today's video, I'm going to be taking you through the new Guardian Takedown with my build, Angel of Death. Now, this build has proven to be so powerful. If you are using Angel of Death right now, you don't have to change a thing. All you need to do is get a few weapons, and you're good to go. Alright guys, let's look at the gear and the skills and the modifiers. As far as our skills, we are not changing a thing about Angel of Death. That is the beauty of this build. It is extremely powerful. Now, as far as our equipment, for guns, I am using a spooling projectile recursion, shock and fire next to mag's radiation. And for our single targets, I am still using the KSN. It melts on this build. I'm switching between a shock and a fire KSN, and I'm using a 100 ASC anointment. Now you can use next to mags since it got buffed. That's excellent. These are the only KSNs I had. It's working just fine. As far as the other two weapons I'm using for the bosses, I'm using a corrosive and shock sandhawk consecutive hits anointment. And as far as our gear, we're not changing a thing. I'm using a double turtle old god with radiation bonus anointment. And for our nade, we're using a cryo P nade. This is allowing us to have 5 unique elements on our enemies. As far as our artifact, we're still using the pearl. And for boss fights, we are switching to the cut purse launch pad just so that we have enough ammo to continue the fight. The bosses do have a lot of immune phases. And we're still using the phase zerker as our comm. As far as modifiers go, the modifiers that I used for this was Speed Demon, Healy Avenger, Laser Flare, and Buddy System. Feel free to put the modifiers as you see fit. This is just what I'm using. If you haven't seen the Angel of Death video, I'm going to link it at the top of the screen now. So go ahead and click on that to see the full explanation of the build video. But for now, let's get started on this walkthrough through the Guardian Takedown. Okay, so on this first bit, it's pretty simple. Tannis is asking us to locate the Guardian signal. So all you're going to have to do that is kill all the enemies, and then you're going to jump on the platform and open up the crystals. Also, just a heads up, I am going to be skipping some of the mobbing scenes. And on this first bit, after we kill all of the enemies, Tannis doesn't ask us to activate the crystals. Now, normally we would activate the crystals, stand on a panel, and the crystals would activate and open the door. Well, in this case, we kill all of the enemies and the door just opens. So we're going to start it from there. Once you've reached the final platform, you are going to defeat all of the guardians until there isn't one left. So now our mission is to activate the crystals. Once the crystals are activated, you're going to need to stand on the platform. The object is not to move and not to let any guardians on that platform. So you're going to have to stay on that platform and fight enemies in a standstill position. If an enemy gets on your platform, it stops the crystal's progression. If you get off the platform, it stops your progression. If you take too long to activate your crystal, the crystal will explode and you will be defeated, sending you back all the way to the beginning to start all the way over. So for this part, I really enjoy using the recursion because it absolutely shreds enemies. We do have an advantage with Amara here. If they get on your platform, you can grasp them and that will keep up the progression. So be sure to be cautious of your grasps. Now, there's going to be 3 crystals that you have to do this to, and you have to fill the crystals all the way up until they unlock. Now, if you notice right there, I did switch to my cut purse. From time to time, you are going to need to do this in the raid. These enemies are bullet sponges. They are supposed to fix that next week, so fingers crossed. But as far as going through the raid, we are going to need to get ammo from time to time. So I just switch, fill up my ammo, and switch right back to the pearl. Now on this part, once again, you're going to need to defeat enemies to get to the other side of the bridge. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Once we've defeated all of the guardians, another room in the temple will be unlocked. We will proceed through the door and defeat more guardians. Once all of these top guardians are defeated, there are going to be invisible platforms that appear and disappear. We are then going to have to jump across those invisible platforms until we see a hole in the middle of a pillar in the middle of the room. That will lead us to the next area that we need to progress to.
Sheepishly protest the flame with words of wind. Come then to burn to meet a coward's end.
Once you jump down and come out the other side, you will slide down these slopes to some vending machines. This is gearing you up for our first boss. This boss is very beefy and has a 3-tier health bar, 2 armor, and the last shield. I suggest you keep a cut purse on at all times during this fight. He has a lot of immune phases as well. In his immune phase, he gives off a blast of radiation. The object is to get to a platform without a blast of radiation. To tell if the platform will have a blast, there will be a red beam of light that shines in the air. I will give you a warning. The more immune phases he has, the more pillars will have a blast. A trick that I have learned is if you feel that you cannot make it to a safety platform, prepare to take the blast and go into fight for your life. Less beefy enemies will spawn, and if you use this build, second wins will be of no issue. I have been downed mid-jump and thrown into the cavern below, making me start all the way over. I would rather not risk this, and I will take my chances and fight for your life. These immune phases will continue until the boss is defeated.
Feel the power. I'm done here.
Once you're done looting, you will notice a portal has appeared. You will go through the portal and you are now at a checkpoint. And from here, the raid is halfway over. Once the door opens, you will again have to fight through the temple and do some more mobbing until each enemy has been defeated. Now, here's where you have options. You can either A, fight all of the enemies until there isn't one left and jump over platforms to the next area, or you can build up enough speed and do a skip. I'm going to show you the skip now, but feel free not to do this and just fight your way through. So that skip right there is going to save us about 5 to 7 minutes of enemy mobbing. If you decide to go through the skip, that's great. If you decide to fight, that's fine as well. But ultimately, it's going to take you to these platforms, and you are going to once again activate 3 crystals. And we're going to do the same thing like we did in the beginning of the raid, just at this point. So let's go ahead and activate the crystals. Now, one thing that I want to point out, I personally don't like to start at the middle crystal. I like to start at the far left one. I feel like if you start at the middle crystal, I'm not really prepared. The enemies have already spawned in. I like to start at the far crystal, the far left crystal. It's up to you which crystal you go through. You have to do all 3 anyways, so I will leave that up to you. Once all the crystals are done, it will unlock another door. All right, here we are at the last crystal, just waiting for the last little bit to finish up. Once that crystal is full, we will unlock it, and all of the crystals will be filled up, and the next part of the temple will be unlocked.
You are of light, and yet you do not comprehend the risk. We all have guardians we must tend.
Now that the crystals are done, we are looking at one of the last rooms before the final boss fight. So we're going to have to mob here. We're going to have to jump on 3 panels, fight some more mobs, and then jump again. There is a skip if you go to the very top, gain speed. You can jump all 3 of these pillars. In this example, I'm going to show you jumping over the pillars, but just keep in mind you can skip this if you go to the top and have enough speed to jump over. Now that you've fought those mobs and jumped on and over those platforms, you are now sliding into the final boss fight. So once you slide down, you're going to grab some ammo and go through a portal. That will take you to the temple of the final boss.
The source of the energy signature. Go in, Vault Hunter, so we may get a reading on whatever's inside. Yes, it's probably a monster of some sort, but science demands we make certain.
We have finally made it to the final boss, Scourge. This boss is very similar to the relentless boss we fought earlier, as he also has 2 armor bars and a shield bar to get through. Scourge also has many immune phases. For this fight, I'm not changing anything. I'm just going to use a cut purse launch pad for the entire fight, and I'm also using a corrosive and shock Sandhawk consecutive hits anointment. After his immune phases, there will be a blast, so be sure to hide behind a pillar so it does not hit you. If it does, it will send you in fight for your life. He also has the ability to pull you closer to him, so keep your distance. After you have whittled him down past his armor bar, you will be teleported to another area where you must mob and fight until another portal appears to take you back to his temple. While you are mobbing in this newly found area and waiting for that portal to appear, Scourge's health bar will slowly begin to regenerate. So mob fast and get through that portal as fast as you can. Once the portal appears, you will run to it and quickly jump through it. That will take you back to Scourge's temple. Once you're in Scourge's temple, he will be still in immune phase, hooked on to a crystal. Jump onto the platform and melee that crystal. This will get him out of his immune phase, and you can finish off his first armor bar without any more immune phases.
Crystalline structure. I've got something for that. Unstoppable.
This is far from over.
Lies.
I have already done the process.
Now on to his second armor bar. You will repeat exactly what you did for the first armor bar. You are going to whittle it down. He's going to have immune phases. Get behind pillars when he's in the immune phases to avoid the blasts. Once he gets all the way down, he will teleport you to another area where you will mob. And it will be the same thing. Once the mobs are over, go through the teleport, and you will once again melee a crystal for him to get out of his immune phase, and you will finally be on his shield bar. Once you go through that second portal, you are in the home stretch. Let's finish off that last armor bar to get to his shield phase. Once you get to the shield phase, all that's left is to survive the last few immunity phases, and then he will be defeated. This was only my second time doing it. I am going to be spending a lot of time on stream and off stream learning the raids, ins and outs. I'm also going to be doing the raid on the other Vault Hunters and also practicing some speed runs as well. If you have any questions, be sure to leave a comment, or you can always join the Discord and connect with me personally.
Expected in about 3 years.
Please take a moment right now and hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you want to catch these videos live, you can find me at twitch.tv/jadedecho_, or subscribe to my YouTube channel and be up to date with each video.